I've already had that experience with my sheep, and now it's happening with people. He's having a gradual awakening to things much larger than himself, and the reality of getting out of his comfort zone, and in the sense that that there is no such thing as a strange place, or it's not a strange place. It's a new place, and you know, as humans, we're incredibly resilient and adaptive creatures. As Americans, we're not. That's something. I mean, really the only kind of personal experience that I've got, I guess, applicable to this book is something like this. I mean, I've lived like all over the world, and the worst and strangest place that I thought was strange at the time was Cambodia, because it's just so drastically different and so poor and impoverished, and like the absolute worst place that ever. It was actually Time Magazine came out with an article last year about the 25 worst countries in the world, and Cambodia was 4th. It was like Iraq, I think. And so when I first moved, I mean, there are people like at night. They don't have trash cans there. They don't have garbage cans or anything. So everyone just throws their trash down on the ground. And at night, I felt like I was in Escape from New York. Have you ever seen that movie with Kurt Russell? And he's like got the patch guy. Anyways, New York is like a quarantine zone for criminals, and there's like all these flaming trash barrels and stuff. And at night there, they just have these guys with these big like snowplows that they just pile up just mounds and mounds of trash and douse them with kerosene and light the piles of trash on fire. And so those serve as the street lights, and also their way of getting away of their trash for the day. And so you'd be walking down these alleys at night, and there's these flaming piles of trash everywhere, and people like using open sewers, and like 7-year-olds with AK-47s walking down the street. It's just weird. And so, I called my mom on my birthday, and there was a shooting like right across the street from the internet cafe, and they locked us. My mom was not happy. Anyway, but by that point, it seemed normal to me, because I'd lived there for so long. I'd lived there long enough to not think that it was strange anymore, because it's strange for us. But the reality is that that's the way that a lot of people, more people live like that than people live like us here. And we don't understand that we're the strangers, that we live a strange existence compared to the majority of the world. And things different from us seem that way because we're on the inside looking out, right? But going to different places. I mean, that's not the only place I've lived, but going and experiencing different things that seem strange, they're only strange for a little while. And it harks back to that idea of getting outside of your comfort zone in order to grow, in order to see things from a different light, or in order to change things about yourself that you wanted to change. The initial discomfort sucks, right? But once you become accustomed to things, there is that. Cambodia always sucked. I'm not saying that I would love to go back and live that life, but being able to see things from a different angle, and being able to see how people and live like a lot of the world lives, and realize how lucky we are, is an experience that I greatly appreciate now and understand on a much deeper level than I ever could have. Philosophically think like, yeah, I understand, but actually going and living and understanding is one thing. But it takes a certain amount of discomfort that I will forever be grateful for now. And that applies to anything else that we would be looking for. And that whole idea that there's a language that doesn't depend on words. I mean, that's again, another huge cliche when people talk about laughter and like a smile. I mean, you can't misunderstand a smile, right? A true smile. Like there's an evil smile and then there's a really good smile. And you don't misunderstand like true laughter. And funnily enough, slapstick humor, right? When somebody falls down, like if they're not hurt, then it's funny. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. If the person's not really old and they don't break a bone, then if someone slips and falls, it's always funny. Okay. Let's see here. Time is it? 8. It's not 8. Wait, what?
That was a good one.
Okay. Well, we'll stop right there.